Hello, this presentation is for the Arapahoe County Public Works and Development Arapahoe Road Improvements Project. The Arapahoe Road Improvements Project will include extending the turn lanes on eastbound Arapahoe Road to northbound Buckley Road and modifying the intersection at Arapahoe Road and Olathe Street. This graphic shows the proposed turn lane extension from eastbound Arapahoe Road to northbound Buckley Road. Additional turn lane capacity will allow turning vehicles to exit the through lanes, which reduces potential conflict points between vehicles traveling straight through the intersection and vehicles slowing down to turn left. In March of 2019, the Arapahoe County Sheriff's Office contacted Arapahoe County Public Works and Development Traffic Operations to notify them that a pattern of severe crashes was occurring at the intersection of Arapahoe and Olathe. The Sheriff's Office requested that PWD consider improving safety at the intersection due to the number and the severity of the crashes. In 2019, the City of Centennial, in coordination with Arapahoe County, completed the Arapahoe Road, Yosemite to Buckley Next Steps Operations Study. The study recommended the extension of the eastbound turn lanes on Arapahoe Road at Buckley. The Arapahoe Road and Olathe intersection was identified as a safety concern. In December 2020, the county was awarded a Safer Main Streets grant to help fund construction of the project. The county hired a design consultant to begin design of the turn lane extensions and median closure at Olathe. The project team worked with CDOT on design approval and in October 2022 held the first public meeting to inform local residents of the project. Following the public meeting, the county decided to take a closer look at other alternatives to improve the safety at the intersection of Arapahoe and Olathe. In November 2022, the county hired a road safety analytics consultant named Diaxis to analyze the intersection of Arapahoe Road and Olathe and consider additional alternatives to safety. Diaxis gathered additional traffic count data in December of 2022 and submitted a final report to the county in June of 2023. PWD met with City of Centennial and elected officials from Arapahoe County and the City of Centennial to gain consensus on the recommended alternative for the intersection. Public meeting number 2 is being held in June of 2023 to inform residents of the updated design. The project management team will then focus on finalizing the project plans and anticipate construction beginning in the spring of 2024. This slide shows the crash history at the intersection of Arapahoe Road and Olathe from 2016 through 2021. There were no recorded crashes in 2022 and none in 2023 as of February of 2023. The crashes at the intersection show a pattern, which is highlighted in red, of vehicles traveling eastbound on Arapahoe Road and turning northbound at Olathe Street being struck by vehicles traveling westbound on Arapahoe Road. All but one of these crashes occurred in the morning during a weekday. The crash pattern from the previous slide is summarized in the table here. The graphics at the bottom left show the difference between an approach turn crash and a broadside crash. The crash pattern at Olathe and Arapahoe is an approach turn crash. That is the graphic on the right. The eastbound to northbound turning movement at Olathe is being struck by the westbound through movement on Arapahoe. This crash pattern has occurred 6 times in 2017, 3 times in 2018, 4 times in 2019, once in 2020, and 2 times in 2021. It should be noted that crashes statewide were down in the years of the pandemic from 2020 to 2021 due to less vehicles on the roadway. There have been no reported crashes in 2022 and none in 2023 as of February 16, 2023. Diaxis, the road safety consultant that was hired by the county, uses LOSS, or Level of Service of Safety, to quantitatively measure safety of a roadway segment in reference to its expected frequency and severity. LOSS 1 indicates a low potential for crash reduction. LOSS 2 indicates low to moderate. LOS 3 indicates moderate to high, and LOSS 4 indicates a high potential for crash reduction. LOSS reflects how the roadway segment is performing in regards to its expected crash frequency and severity at a specific average annual daily traffic, or AADT. The yellow dots on the figures show the existing crash frequency, while the red circles are the expected crash frequency for an intersection of a similar type. The intersection of Arapahoe and Olathe has a higher crash frequency than would be typically seen for a similar intersection. The orange box shows that crashes will continue to increase if nothing is done to improve the intersection. Figure 1 shows that 4.11 crashes per year would be expected at the intersection of Arapahoe and Olathe by 2023, reflecting a moderate to high potential for crash reduction. This suggests that we would expect a total of about 39 crashes over the 10-year period. Figure 2 shows 2.00 injury and fatal crashes per year would be expected at the intersection by 2023, with no intersection modification. This suggests we would expect about 19 severe injury and fatal crashes over the 10-year period. Diaxis analyzed 4 different alternatives for the intersection at Arapahoe and Olathe. Alternative 1 is a no work alternative and would mean doing nothing to improve the intersection. Estimated cost would be nothing, and the benefit to cost ratio would also be nothing. As can be seen in the figures, anticipated LOSS will continue to rise as traffic volume increases. Alternative number 1 is not recommended since crashes will continue to increase as traffic volume increases. Alternative number 2 would restrict the southbound left out at Olathe and the northbound left out from the driveway to the south. A 3/4 movement, meaning a right in, a right out, a left in, but no left out, would be provided with a time of day restriction. The crash data shows the majority of the crashes occur in the weekday morning hours. Therefore, the left turn movement would be initially restricted during that time using a blank out "No left turn" sign and a flashing beacon. The anticipated cost for alternative 2 is approximately $200,000, and the benefit to cost ratio is 10.49. Total crashes are anticipated to be reduced by 60% for the approach, turn, and broadside crashes at this intersection. Because the turn restriction will only be in effect during limited hours, and its effectiveness will depend on driver compliance with the restriction, there is some uncertainty about the crash reduction that will be actually achieved. Alternative 2 is a recommended alternative. Alternative 3 would provide a two-phase westbound through and eastbound left turn signal at Arapahoe and Olathe. The eastbound left turn movement would be protected. The eastbound through movement on Arapahoe Road would not be signalized. While this alternative would provide an estimated 90% crash reduction, the MUTCD signal warrants are not met at this time. It should be noted that Arapahoe Road is a major arterial carrying approximately 59,000 vehicles per day, and Olathe Street is a local road carrying approximately 530 vehicles per day. Similar to other jurisdictions, the county does not install traffic signals that do not meet signal warrants as outlined in the Manual on Uniform Traffic Control Devices, the MUTCD. What is a signal warrant? A warrant is a condition that an intersection must meet to justify a signal installation. The county follows the guidance in the Manual on Uniform Traffic Control Devices, or MUTCD, when installing signals. There are 9 signal warrants: the 8-hour vehicle volume, 4-hour vehicle volume, peak hour, pedestrian volume, the school crossing, the coordinated signal system, the crash experience, the roadway network, and the intersection near a grade crossing warrant. While Alternative 3 demonstrates that a signal would reduce crashes at the intersection, signal warrants are not met at this time. The final alternative was analyzed, Alternative 4, would provide a full median closure at the intersection of Arapahoe and Olathe. Traffic would be diverted to Buckley on the east and Lewiston on the west. A mountable emergency vehicle only access would be included in the design. This alternative would divert up to 25 vehicles per hour in the PM peak that would have previously turned at Olathe, increasing the demand at Buckley by about 2.5%. The anticipated cost of this improvement is approximately $100,000, and the benefit cost ratio is 34.77. Total crashes are expected to be reduced by 75% at the intersection with this alternative. Alternative 4 is a recommended alternative. After reviewing the final DIAXIS report recommendations and gathering consensus from elected officials and the City of Centennial, the county has selected alternative number 2 as the recommended alternative. Alternative number 2 will restrict the left out at Olathe and the left out at the driveway to the south. The eastbound turn onto Olathe will be restricted on weekday mornings. Alternate number 2 will require traffic intending to travel east on Arapahoe Road from Olathe to travel west to Lewiston and make a U-turn. Recent traffic count data shows 2 vehicles per hour maximum would be making this movement. This movement is easily accommodated at Lewiston, which has a fully protected double left turn lane. Alternate number 2 will also require traffic intending to travel north on Olathe from Arapahoe to use alternate routes during the restricted no left turn hours. Alternate routes will be required during morning rush hour on weekdays, when the left turning volume at Buckley was less than 350 vehicles per hour. The signal at Buckley and Arapahoe has a full left turn protection. Traffic count shows 6 vehicles per hour turning left from eastbound Arapahoe to Olathe between 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. on weekdays. 6 vehicles per hour will have negligible impact on the safety and operations of the intersection at Buckley. The maps on this slide show available detours during restricted hours available for vehicles that cannot or prefer not to U-turn at Buckley. The project team considered additional safety measures for the project, which were ultimately not selected for various reasons described as follows. Number 1, speed limit reduction. Arapahoe Road is a major arterial carrying nearly 59,000 vehicles per day. Olathe is a local road carrying 530 vehicles per day. The speed limit is set at 45 miles per hour, which is typical for a major arterial. Recommendation: speed limit will not be reduced to the high volume of Arapahoe Road and it being a major arterial. Another option, acceleration and deceleration lanes at Olathe. Acceleration and deceleration lanes at Olathe are outside the project scope in addition to the fact that crash data does not show crashes occurring for the right in or right out movement at Olathe. Accel and decel lanes are not recommended as a part of this project, but are not precluded from future consideration as a separate project. Merge fourth lane as acceleration and deceleration lane at Olathe as shown on the graphics to the right. The project team considered providing a right turn accel lane from Buckley, which tapers out, then a right turn decel lane with right turn only at Olathe, then a right turn acceleration lane from Olathe overlapping with a right turn decel lane for Lewiston. This option would provide safer turns into Olathe due to fewer conflict points. However, Diaxis determined that removal of a westbound lane would be an overall increase in crashes given the high volume of westbound through traffic on Arapahoe Road. The expected increase in non-intersection crashes on westbound Arapahoe Road would be much larger than the expected decrease in crashes involving left turns from eastbound Arapahoe to Olathe. Changes to the fourth westbound lane on Arapahoe Road are not recommended. Full signal at Arapahoe and Olathe. As stated, the county follows the Manual on Uniform Traffic Control Devices, MUTCD, and of the 9 signal warrants listed in the MUTCD, none of the required signal warrants are met for this intersection. So a traffic signal is not warranted and not recommended. In summary, the project team, with the support of the city and county elected officials, has selected alternative number 2 as the recommended alternative. The alternative will provide a 3/4 movement with a time of day left turn movement restriction during the morning weekday hours. Alternative number 2 is recommended as a first step. After construction, the intersection will be monitored to determine whether the crash reduction is achieved. If 2 or more approach turn crashes per calendar year continue to occur, then the expected crash reduction has not been achieved and additional modifications and mitigations will need to be examined and considered at that time. Thank you.